area of the country has a ton of Bigfoot reports out of it, dating back into the 1800s. I have personally spoken to a dozen or two people that have seen Sasquatches in this area. One fisherman found footprints. They were about 13 inches.
From a strange encounter that was experienced by a hiker who only wanted to explore the wonders of the woods found in the most remote parts of Oklahoma, to an unwitting worker who got threatened by a strange beast that changed all his beliefs when it came to the legendary creature that is believed to lurk in such woods. Here is the terrifying Bigfoot footage that may end the debate once and for all. For hundreds of years now, many have told us of their encounters with this strange creature that lurks in the woods. Giant, hairy, and feral, the legend that is Bigfoot is one that has haunted the woods of America for a long time now. As a result, we have been looking for clues that would help us confirm that this elusive cryptid exists. This time, we are compelled to take a look at what some people have come across when they made their way through the many perfectly aligned rows of cedar trees found in the parallel forest. This is because a hike ended up giving us what proves to be the clearest proof that Bigfoot really exists: the mysterious parallel forest. Those who come from Oklahoma could easily tell you that the parallel forest is one daunting place that many fear to explore. There is just something about the rows of natural woodlands that makes it feel like it was man-made or manufactured by someone. Maybe it is because the rows of cedar trees are so well aligned, it betrays its human origins. Whatever the case may be, the locals are wary of these woods.
We had no idea what it was. It was just moseying on along like it didn't have a care in the world.
They believe that it has a way of making people lose their sense of direction. They just find it too creepy to bear, especially as there is this sense of danger that seems to emit from the forest. For some reason, this didn't stop a certain hiker from exploring these woods one particular day. He may not have been aware of the mystery surrounding these woods as he went in. All he wanted to do was explore the woods and take in the best that nature had to offer in there. What he didn't know was that in a few minutes, he would be the one who would come out with some of the clearest evidence that Bigfoot may be in those woods, and may end up proving that Bigfoot is real. This moment almost didn't happen for our hiker. The event occurred so quickly that he would have missed it if he blinked for even 1 second. Thank goodness he was alert, because he would spot this strange dark figure that was lurking behind the barks of the massive cedar trees found in the parallel forest. As odd as the figure was, it got even odder in the sense that this wasn't the blurry shape that many pop out with when they claim that they ran into the legendary cryptid in the wild. The difference here was that the footage showed us exactly what Bigfoot may have been up to in woods such as these in parallel forest. For starters, the footage showed us how the creature moved in a fine and distinct manner. Another thing that the clear footage showed us was that although the creature was clearly human-like in its form, its pattern of movement was too smooth to be any animal that is known to us till date. Heck, it actually moved as if it owned these woods. Suffice it to say, our hiker was doing all he could to keep it together. Thankfully, he was able to do so in a way that allowed him to record his footage. Sure, it was only about 9 seconds long, but this footage is clearer than anything that we have seen when it comes to the legendary cryptid that is Bigfoot. This footage was truly pioneering when it came to the search for Bigfoot, because this time there was no debate as to whether or not something was there in the woods with the hiker. Gone are the jokes that all Bigfoot footage seems to be blurry for one reason or another. Now we have some compelling proof that helps us establish that Bigfoot is really out there. Eager to share this footage with the world, the hiker decided to upload the footage online. Well, this proved to be a great idea, because by the end of the day, the video had attracted about 1.7 million views on TikTok. The reactions were also there for all to see. While the skeptics just couldn't believe what they were looking at, the Bigfoot enthusiasts were overjoyed, especially as what they were looking at was simply undeniable. Before we knew it, the scientists got to work by analyzing every single frame that was in the footage. It didn't take long for the footage to be considered to be one of the most convincing Bigfoot videos that is in existence today, and rightly so, because it put an end to the doubt that this elusive cryptid exists. Great job. Perhaps now we can actually focus on finding the legendary creature once and for all. As for our hiker, he was permanently shaken by the encounter. From the day he took the legendary footage, he was convinced that he would never return to the parallel forest again. At least, not by himself. It is clear that his life was marked by his encounter with whatever was in there with him, and he wasn't going to risk having another encounter with this creature. This doesn't mean that this is the end for us and our run-ins with this fabled beast. After all, our hiker was not the first person to run into this creature in the city of Oklahoma. Back in 2021, for example, the encounters with Bigfoot were so prominent that one of the state lawmakers suggested that they have an official Bigfoot hunting season. As amazing as this may have been, they weren't able to pass the bill. Despite this, the ramifications were clear for all to see. At the very least, it told the people of Oklahoma that really, there must be something out there, and it would be amazing to have a documented encounter with this creature in the woods. As if that wasn't tempting enough to make your way into the woods to search for Bigfoot, it was reported that around the same time, someone offered a mouth-watering $3 million bounty for a live capture of the fabled cryptid. Maybe you should make your way to the woods, because as far as we can tell, nobody has claimed the $3 million bounty for themselves. That said, the presence of this bounty tells us that some people are taking the search for this creature seriously and are ready to put anything up so that they could actually find it. The breakthrough made by the Expedition Bigfoot team. As much as the Bigfoot encounter experienced in Parallel Forest was daunting enough, just wait until you hear about what the Expedition Bigfoot team experienced at the same time. Although they were hundreds of miles away, the Bigfoot research team had been hard at work searching these remote woods that had a reputation for the strange and unusual. During this exploration exercise, Russell Accord, one of the most prominent members of the Expedition Bigfoot team, was forced to jump to attention when he saw something that blew his mind. Now at first, he thought it must have been a bear. The creature he had spotted was as large and as hairy as one. It also made sense because it wasn't weird to run into bears in such a heavily forested region. After all, black bears had made forests such as these their homes for many centuries now. As clear as this may be to the average explorer, Russell's opinion about this being a bear changed when he noticed that the creature suddenly rose upright to stand on its two hind legs. This again would have been normal for a bear, but Russell realized that something was definitely up when he noticed that the creature was a bit too comfortable standing and walking around on its two hind legs. Most of us have seen bears get on their hind legs in a bipedal stance from time to time, but they normally don't look as comfortable as this creature was when it was walking around. Now, this creature moved in a fluid manner before it made its way out of Russell's line of sight. As you can probably tell, Russell was left stunned by what he had just seen. What on earth could that have been? There was no way that could be a bear. Russell was familiar with bears, and this creature just didn't move like one. Excited, Russell showed the footage to his partners. Understandably, they were also excited and shocked by what they had seen. At the end of the day, though, the only thing that was certain was that this creature was something that the Expedition Bigfoot team had never seen in their lives. Impressed by its dark fur and its fluid motion, the Expedition Bigfoot team was definitely excited about what they had just seen. Looking for more answers, the Expedition Bigfoot team could not take their eyes off the massive creature on the screen. When they made their way back to camp, the entire team did what they had to do to get some more details. After watching it, they all agreed that this could not be a bear, especially when it rose from its crouching position to stand on its two hind legs. Looking at the footage, Dr. Maria Mayer, the resident anthropologist and primatologist, was especially struck by what she had seen. When one of the members of the team noticed how long the creature's legs were and how the head of the creature was nothing like that of a bear, Mayer decided that she had to do some thinking. After watching the footage several more times, she noticed the deliberate movements that were maintained by the strange creature in the clip. The vertical stance was something that really stood out to her. After observing this for some time, there was no telling her that she was looking at the footage of an ordinary bear. She was such an expert in her field that she knew that nothing in the area matched the movements of what the creature displayed in the footage. Thanks to this, she knew that this was groundbreaking evidence that could only benefit the growth of Bigfoot research. For starters, the movements of the creature in the footage told us of how aware and intelligent it was. The other thing about it was that the creature had noticed them and was weighing on how threatening the Expedition Bigfoot team was to it. In the end, when it decided to leave, it was clear that this was not a frightened creature that was fleeing from something it considered to be a predator. No, this creature left as a confident being that was just taking a tour of its domain. If that wasn't scary enough to the Expedition Bigfoot team, then they were one of the gutsiest people out there. With that in mind, what was left for them to do was to take this piece of evidence back to their base so that they could analyze it even further. The evidence discovered by Bigfoot skeptics. Many of us may be able to relate to the Expedition Bigfoot team because, like them, we may be believers in the existence of Bigfoot. Now imagine if you were a Bigfoot skeptic, but you came across undeniable proof that Bigfoot is real. What would you do with that proof? Well, that was the conundrum that a resident known as Harley Owens had to overcome when he was working at a sawmill that was located in the southwest region of Virginia. The event will take place on the 23rd of September 2020, and it will be one that will change Owens' life. It started out as an ordinary workday as Owens was putting in his shift in the remote sawmill. This meant that he was working alone in the isolated mountains in the area. Well, things took an interesting turn around noon when Owens decided that he was going to take a break. This meant that he was going to get a drink from his service truck. To his shock, he would be too startled to take a sip from his chilled can of Coke because he would hear this low, menacing growl from behind the trees. The growl was deep and threatening, and as a result, you can understand that Owens was on full alert. He had never heard such a growl before, and understandably, he was really distressed. Just as he came to the conclusion that something terrible could happen while he was there all alone, he tried to scan the area. That was when his eyes eventually fell on the creature that would change his life forever. Up in the cliff above the sawmill, Owens' eyes fell on this dark creature. The scary part was that this creature was watching him as well. Even scarier was the fact that there seemed to be some sort of intelligence behind the creature's eyes, as though it knew what exactly Owens was, an intruder. The creature then proved itself to be as evasive as Bigfoot because when it realized that it had been spotted by Owens, it tried to duck out of the way. Thankfully, before it could hide, Owens was able to take a photo of the strange being. Well, that was until his phone died all of a sudden. The strange thing about that is that till this day, Owens swears that phone is still acting weird. It is almost as if the encounter had some side effect on the phone. Initially, Owens remained skeptical. After all, he was a lad that was familiar with the great outdoors, and he figured that this creature could have been a bear. Growing up, he had seen black bears all over the place, and it would be too strange for the creature he had run into to be one. However, he couldn't deny the fact that he was familiar with the behaviors of bears, and he knew that this creature did not move or behave like one. Instead, the creature seemed to be analyzing Owens as much as Owens was analyzing it when he noticed it. Indeed, this was a much more sophisticated creature than a bear, and there was no convincing Owens otherwise. Another interesting thing about the creature was the imposing stature of the massive creature. Standing at 6'6" and weighing in at 160 pounds, Owens was no shrimp, so you can only imagine how large a creature had to be for such a man to be intimidated by it. Owens recalled the creature appeared to be so large and powerful that it looked as though it wouldn't struggle if it wanted to take him down. Well, Owens would have to buck up because the encounter was far from over. Later into the night, at around 9:30 p.m., Owens was made to feel uneasy by some vocalizations that disrupted the usually silent woods. It wouldn't have been so bad, but the sounds were just too unfamiliar for him to recognize. One thing was sure, and that was that the creature was making strange noises that couldn't be attributed to any man or any other creature known to man. It was a distinct, unsettling sound that Owens would never forget. As Owens recorded these disturbing calls, he was certain that this was definitely something that existed out of the realm of being human or being a run-of-the-mill animal. Hopefully, the researchers that analyze it will be able to let us know what sort of creature was making such a strange noise. Just as Owens was doing what he could to record what was going on, he just couldn't help but notice the powerful stench of rotting eggs that was wafting his way. Before he could hurl his lunch, Owens took cover, knowing that he would never get this smell out of his mind for the rest of his life. Thankfully, though, this was helpful information for Owens because he knew that although bears were wild animals, they didn't smell this bad. No, sir, this was definitely not a bear. Although this answered some questions for Owens, it also created some more because they didn't know what this creature could be. Tired of living so close to the edge, especially as it seemed as though he was putting his life in danger being so close to this strange creature, Owens decided it was time to get out of there. Before long, he found his way to this restaurant so that he could let people know what he had just experienced. Their reactions said it all. Although the residents of the restaurants didn't say much in the beginning, especially because Owens was an outsider, they eventually relented when he revealed exactly what he had seen when he was in the remote sawmill. They immediately referred to the creature as a devil monkey, and as you can imagine, this did not serve to ease the fears experienced by Owens. It told him that the local residents had been dealing with these creatures for God knows how long. Maybe that is why the owner of the sawmill warned him about the creatures in the woods. Owens may have thought that the man was just referring to the bear, snakes, and mountain lions that could be found in these woods, but we can only now guess that he was talking about something else. As weird as this may have been for Owens, he was incredibly relieved to find that the locals knew what he was talking about. In fact, the only difference between him and these locals is that he was the only one to come out of the woods with some sort of evidence of what is out there. The weird thing about all of this, especially for Owens, is that just 2 days earlier, he had run into some rather unusual footprints that were located about 100 yards from the sawmill. It really boggled Owens' mind, especially as he just couldn't understand how anyone could make their way through the area with just their bare feet. Things got even weirder for Owens when he realized how massive these footprints were. They simply dwarfed his size 12 feet, and that says a lot as to how massive these footprints were. Stricken by how odd the entire situation was, it was perhaps the first time that Owens started to think that maybe Bigfoot was real. In the end, Owens was forced to let go of his skepticism when it came to the belief that Bigfoot was real. Many have gone through life contending with the belief that Bigfoot is at best a figment of the imagination of people wanting to believe in something extraordinary. For many years, they have had cause to believe that Bigfoot is just the manifestation of such people or pranksters who were trying to take advantage of gullible people. Well, now the ball is in Owens's court, as he cannot claim that his own eyes had deceived him. Not only had he come across the strange footprints a few days before the unsettling encounter, he could probably put two and two together to see that these footprints may have belonged to the strange being he ran into in the woods. Whatever the case may be, it is clear that this encounter birthed at least one new Bigfoot enthusiast. Hopefully, the evidence that he was able to record will help us put an end to the Bigfoot debate once and for all. From a strange encounter that was experienced by a hiker who only wanted to explore the wonders of the woods found in the most remote parts of Oklahoma, to an unwitting worker who got threatened by a strange beast that changed all his beliefs when it came to the legendary creature that is believed to lurk in such woods, here is the terrifying Bigfoot footage that may end the debate once and for all.